So we are about 500 feet onto my rural property. Today I'm going to talk about some of the things that I did when I looked for land, and give you a quick tour of my property and a sneak peek of the cabin we're building. And well, we're going to go onto the property here, and we're going to go up a pretty steep hill. I've got this camera set up on a tripod in my truck, and it is going to bounce around, so hopefully it doesn't fall over. I will narrate a bit as we drive. Alright, here we go. So I get this gravel from a local guy. He's incredibly reliable. It's about $300 a truck. Truckload, I've probably put 5 loads down so far. So you can't really see it, but right here I've got a culvert, one of 3. I went with 32-inch culverts, which were oversized for what I needed, but with the amount of rain and runoff we get, I had 24s. They were older metal ones, and they were getting filled up, and I just didn't want to be trying to come down here all the time and dig them out. It's a pain. I've got a little parking pad here off to the left that my friends who have 2-wheel drive cars can come and park, but they've got to hike up. And then far up ahead you can see an abandoned camper. It's an old Scotty, I think, and I thought it looked kind of cool. It is definitely not livable, but I thought it was cool, so I left it there. And then you can see the hill, and it is steeper than it looks, and the video just does not do it justice. But it's crazy, and when we get going, we're gonna have to gun it and keep on it until we get to the top, because I could easily end up off the side of this ravine if I screw up here. So I'm gonna put my seatbelt on and get ready for a ride. Boulder over there that wasn't there the other day. Oh, we made it. Woo! Alright, so we are halfway up my hill. You can kind of see it opens up. Got a clearing. What's pretty cool about this is it's a rare ecological habitat called a cedar barren that's unique to Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe even a small portion of southern Ohio. And what happened was the settlers came in here and they cleared off these hilltops, and they farmed for a while, and they realized that the soil was pretty marginal, and what there was of it basically eroded, and you're left with a very shallow topsoil really close to limestone rock. And so what grew back up was cedars, obviously Juniperus virginiana, and a lot of rare prairie plants that aren't really found in this area too many other places other than these small 1 to 2 acre patches of this cedar barren. So I'm going to turn it off here, and we're going to get out, and I'll do a little bit of a walking tour. So we're up at the top of the hill, and you can see it's a little wet. Looks like I've done about
$200 worth of damage to my road, which is an unfortunate part about living or having a property at the top of a hill that's got a marginal road built into it based on some really clayey, soft soil. It's fine in the summer when it's dry, but you try and come up here when it's a little bit wet and you end up with these ruts, which I'll have to come back and rent something and grade it out and maybe get a little more chips and dust put here. So an important thing about having a road that goes up a hill is your water management, and even though this is really steep, it's thankfully held up really well due to pretty comprehensive strategy of just keeping water off it and making it flow where I want it to flow. There's my dog. She's got a birthday coming up. She's going to be 14. How you doing, pup? And speaking of that, water management, over here we've got a small, I don't know if it's a 12 or 16 inch culvert. You can barely see it down in there. And I've got basically right here is a valley that two sides of my property water drains into. And then there's a little marsh area, which is nice because it slows down the flow of water. So this really small culvert never really clogs up. And what I used to have, water coming off this part of the property and flowing onto the top of my road, and had a ditch cut, and it would flow off to the side, but it was really eroding one side of the road. So what I did was I rented a little mini excavator and created this drainage swale right here that carries water down to that little 12-inch culvert and under the road. And this hasn't really been a problem anymore with water going over the top of the road. It is beautiful up here. I wish I could come down here all the time. I've got 50 acres. So we're going to go down the road, down the hill, and I'm going to show you how big these culverts are. They really get the job done. Man, what a lack of judgment coming here after a couple days of rain. It was dry for maybe a day and a half, and it obviously wasn't enough. Look at this. This property is just awesome. It's hilly, it's rocky, it's steep, and basically what I'll talk about later is that it's got everything that makes me like it and almost nothing that makes it valuable, which was perfect for what I was looking for. So I had a road here when I bought it, and it was originally just came up to the top of this bank. I had someone come in with a big excavator and take about 5 feet off of the top of it and put about 5 feet of fill at the bottom. And man, even my feet are sinking. It is so soft right now. I definitely shouldn't have come here today. And this guy gave me a scare. This rock here, didn't expect that to be there. Had to go around it. Yeah, it's a rock. So I made this little cut right here, clear any water off to the side. And I'll come back here and clear this out. And it does its job pretty well. You can't really see it, but there's a built up part of the road right about here that carries any water that gets on it across and off to the side. And to the left over here, there's a ditch, and it's filled with leaves, but it is smaller than the rest. So any water that comes off this hillside goes into this ditch, and you can see down there where a culvert takes it under, and we'll walk down there and I'll show you. So we're walking down into my drainage ditch, and I have to come down in these things and make sure there's no sticks or big rocks or anything getting these things clogged up. But this is what a 32-inch plastic culvert looks like, and you can see I've got some stuff accumulated down in there. They'll have to get in there and pull it out with a rake or something. But it's doing its job so far, where the 24 inchers would get clogged up really fast. So to the left, I've got a ravine with a pretty cool seasonal stream in it, and maybe someday I'll come out and try and pool it up a little bit in one area. Maybe it doesn't run year-round, but I could pool it up and maybe build up enough water to have some backup hydro in the really terrible depths of winter when I'm not getting any sun. You can see today it's just overcast and cloudy, and this is what the weather's like for about 3 months here. There are all kinds of fossils down in there. It's a great place for kids to go and hunt fossils. Really cool. Sometimes I just hike this stream all the way up to the top. It gets pretty steep and pretty cool looking. So I own both sides of this valley, about 500 feet up and over the top there. So now we're looking back the way that we came in, and shortly after the gravel road ends down there, takes a turn and then it goes out to a private road. Not really a private road, but not a very busy road. Hey! Hey, you like it down here, don't you? It's a fun place where you get to run around. 14 years old this dog is. What a trooper. She loves it out here. This is the view from my front porch. And it's just so peaceful and private up here. I love every minute of being out here.